Hey guys, I'm Little Art Demon and welcome to my channel. And how are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing week, and as you read on the title, today's video is about drawing backgrounds in a very simple way. I didn't draw backgrounds up until recently, and these have helped me reach this point right here. I only drew gradient backgrounds and now I can draw fully detailed ones. And I actually enjoyed it. There are a lot of short tutorials in these videos you can see on the timestamps, so if there's a specific part you'd like to learn, it's easier to find. But let's not waste any more time, just leave your like down below and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And let's get started with this one. The first thing I think is important to mention is the different types of backgrounds that exist. You can of course use a solid color, a gradient or a simple pattern, but in this video I'll cover the natural ones like mountains, the human ones like houses, and also the sky. I can make more detailed videos individually, but I'll try to cover everything important here. I'll start with the sky tutorial because it's the more simple one. The first thing you have to do is pick the colors. The sky can change a lot during the day, so make sure to have a reference mainly for the colors. I'll be making two side by side here so you can see how different the end results can be. For the base, just make a gradient, that's the easy part. Then I like to add stars or sparkles, sometimes I add them on top of the clouds too because it looks magical and I don't care about realism rules. I have a simple brush for that and it makes it super easy. And then the hardest part are the clouds. I start with the lighter tone just to make the shapes, then the way they're shaded can vary depending on the time of the day. If the sun is down, they'll be lighter on the lower part because light is coming from underneath, and if the sun or moon are high in the sky, then the top part of the clouds is illuminated. I like to use a watercolor brush to place the colors and then I merge the layers and blend them. I also then merge the colors with the layer of the cloud shape and just blend it a little more to make it more natural. You can also add small lumps on the clouds. They aren't just gradients, they have different shapes. And something I think helps to make the sky coherent is to grab the background layer and put it on top with the soft light option to make the colors look better. But that's how I typically make the sky. For the more complex backgrounds, I'll start with the references. Of course you can go look for references online just like I did for the skies, and there are plenty of lovely images you can take ideas from. But especially if you know you'll need that background from a lot of different angles, it can be hard to find all the references. So let me give you a suggestion. The first one is using the Sims to create your references. I use the Sims 4 just because it's free. I don't have any of the expansion packs because they aren't necessary for these in particular. As you can see, here's the house from that drawing I showed you earlier. It's a little different in the game because I was too lazy to add all the plans. This house is from the Good Omens fanfic and I knew I was going to need good references, so I built it here. You don't need to worry too much about things looking perfect, just pick what looks closer to what you imagine and then you can adapt it in the drawing stage. Once you've built your house, just get the camera in position and take a few screenshots. I always try to take a couple from slightly different angles to make sure I get at least one that works. And a tip, sometimes it can be hard to put the camera in the right place, so if you need to, just copy your room to another spot and delete the walls and objects in the way. Just don't forget to save your house the way it's meant to be. I use the Sims mostly for houses, but you can use it for landscapes as well. You can use the terrain tools to create lakes and mountains, for example. The other program that I use to get my references isn't technically free, but you can still find it online if you don't have the money, that's what I did. And the program is Minecraft. I haven't used this one as much because I didn't need that many natural backgrounds so far, but you can build it on your own or you can go around the world until you find something that fits your idea, and then just take your screenshots. You can, and in my options should, also look online for more reference images to complement your drawing. But now that we have the references, we can go to the drawing program. But can I just say that I'm really happy that I finally got to use my PC avatar? It's been a while since I drew it, but I think it was worth it. Before using the references we got, there's a few things I need to cover. The first I think gets a lot of hate, and it is perspective. I personally quite like it, I always have, so let me simplify this for you. I can make a more detailed video about this in the future, exploring the different types of perspective, but for today I'm going to give just the basics for what we'll need for the drawings. The good part is that it is really simple, believe me, and the bad part is that this is a simple tutorial, so it won't fit every possible scenario. But it will fit a lot of them. If you've been reading the fanfic, you saw all the drawings and they are all made by this technique. But let's get started. Depending on the program you're using for your drawing, you may or may not have a limited number of rulers you can apply. But you just need one really, and you can do it on paper too, obviously. It can just be a little tricky to start. But you are going to get one of these radial rules and you'll try to line it up with the reference. In Medibank Paint there's the vanishing point option, and in this program you can only have one at a time and you can save your settings. So what I do is make all the lines in one direction, then change the ruler and make the rest of the lines. And for the vertical lines I just simplify it and make them simply vertical. No special rules for this one. So step 1, set the ruler and add all the lines. Step 2, make the vertical lines so you know where they intersect. Step 3, change the ruler and make the rest of the lines. And step 4, clean up the line art and merge the layers. Here's a few more examples of the reference and the drawing. But this is the hardest part of the video and it's done now. The second extra thing is just use different brushes, specifically digital brushes. I created a few of them and it is very simple in Medibunk Paint at least. I have a few plant brushes, I have one for bookshelves, one for brick walls, one for stars. I just create them as I need them. And again, I can make a more detailed tutorial if you'd like, but you just create your shape in a new canvas and go to create a brush. This is the shape I use for the plant brush and it makes everything look organic, I think. I do like to have the line art, so after I'm happy with the shape I just select the layer opacity, extend it by a few pixels and create a line art in another layer like this. That's how I create most of my plants. And of course you can absolutely draw them manually. This is just a way to make it easier, especially because most of these aren't the main focus of the drawing anyway. And the last thing is not even a tutorial, it's more like a tip, and it is the line thickness. I like to make the background lines thinner than the characters on front. I change the lines depending on the distance from the imaginary camera. It makes it look better. And now that we got the more boring part out of the way, let's get to the actual drawings. I just wanted to make the important part visible because it's harder to see on the speed paint. But we are starting with a simple kitchen. Here's the main reference and here are the complementary references as well. I made this in the seams and as you can see I'll be changing some things, especially the clutter. I do like to sketch my characters before starting with the background, this way I don't draw a lot of details just to cover them with the character. I focused more on the line art than on the colors for this one, but I still added some colors in the end. I did freehand some of the lines, it's way easier that way sometimes. The point is not to stress too much. I could point out plenty of small mistakes and errors in all of my drawings, but looking at the whole piece it's hard to see them. So don't stress yourself too much and just enjoy the process. After all, art is made to be enjoyed. And not just for the people who see the end result, it should also be enjoyable to create. And the second drawing of today is a landscape. This is the Minecraft reference and here are some complementary images. For the landscape I don't really use the rulers, the shapes are more organic. And even if Minecraft is made out of cubes, it's not too hard to see the overall shapes and adapt them to the drawing. I picked a mountain with a cave because I think it would be a fun drawing to make. For this one I didn't add a human character like I did in the previous one, but I still wanted to add something. So I thought it could be fun to add some dragons in there. Dragons are not my strong suit, but I wanted to add something magical but somewhat powerful and scary. I added a few smaller ones and a big one hiding in the cave. I really like dragons, honestly, I'd like to get better at drawing them someday. And as you can see I'm adding some plants with the brush I showed you before, and the scales of the dragons are also a brush. And well, that's the tutorial done. This video was a little different than my usual, but I'm happy to make tutorials too. Thank you for watching, I hope you found it helpful. So if you have any requests, let me know, and if you have more tips you can leave them in the comments as well. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe so you don't miss more videos in the future. Thank you again so much for watching, I fully appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!